an 8th special presentation.
This time on Art Beat Nation, we wander the halls of a historic landmark.
We have enough work on view that there's something for everybody all of the time.
Indulge in the glamour of a bygone era.
Thinking about proximity, relationships between people, architecture, and this idea in James's fashion design itself.
Meet a craftsman who puts soul into every instrument he creates.
But yeah, they're hard to let go.
Experience the transformation of downtown Phoenix through art.
What better than to be walking down the street and see artwork instead of just a plain beige building?
It's all ahead on this edition of Art Beat Nation. Funding for Art Beat Nation is made possible by contributions to 8 from viewers like you. Thank you. In our next segment, come along with us as we explore a California landmark. Since its opening over 125 years ago, the Crocker Art Museum has been a jewel of the Sacramento art community. Through the halls of the original Victorian building and into the heart of the more contemporary pavilion, the Crocker's director gives us an inside look at this historic institution.
You know, a lot of people have thought about the Crocker as a small regional art museum in Sacramento. And the Crocker is, you know, a great regional art museum. It's not small. It hasn't been small. Before expansion, the museum was about the 100th largest art museum in North America. Lots of different people come from not just this city, not this county, but around the world to see the Crockers. We've created a bridge between the old and new physical architectural spaces so that they're rather seamless. You walk from a beautiful contemporary building to a beautiful Victorian building, and I think you understand the architectural splendor of both, maybe in a way you didn't before. At least I hope that's part of what happens. We also have a greater depth and variety of work on display, and part of understanding art is not just staying with work that you're comfortable with, but expanding your horizons as a viewer to work that you haven't normally liked in the past, giving it a chance, and when you see it in context with work that you do like, often you find your own tastes broaden. People often ask me, what's your favorite work of art? And I always sidestep that question. I say it's somewhat akin to asking a parent who's your favorite child. It's not exactly the same thing, but what I find with works of art is what I like partly depends on my mood in any particular day. So I may love something one day, and the next day it's no longer in my top 10, even, you know, let alone my favorite piece. Well, you know, I believe that art can be restorative. If you are having a great day, art can help you celebrate that great day. If you're having a rather melancholy time, you can find solace in looking at different paintings. We have enough work on view that there's something for everybody all of the time. We are an institution with a tremendous history. I think that the thing that I most want people in this region to know and to feel in their hearts is that sense of pride and that sense of ownership in this new building and what it will do today and 125 years into the future and more. The museum's had a proud history. I think it's got a great future.
Visit CrockerArtMuseum.org for more information. Up next, we feast our eyes on the stunning gowns and furnishings of designer Charles James. Though his work would feature most prominently in Hollywood and New York high society, a James retrospective as comprehensive as this can only be found in Texas. Stay tuned to find out why.
Charles James is considered one of America's first couturiers, perhaps America's only couturier, and he rose to prominence during the 1940s and 50s with his very avant-garde fashion designs. James had created this theory of a wall of air between the body and fabric. He felt it was one of his greatest achievements as a fashion designer. So a wall of air, thinking about proximity, relationships between people, architecture, and this idea in James's fashion design itself. John and Dominique de Menil were art collectors. They came from France and they arrived in the United States in the 1940s, settling in Houston in 1944. I think once Dominique de Menil met Charles James and became privy to his work, she immediately saw him as an artist. The exhibition opens up with this stunning dress, this red concert gown. James often referred to it as the March of Dimes dress. It's approximately from 1949. It was designed for a March of Dimes gala. It's an excellent example of James's work. It's a fusion of Victorian design aesthetics and forms with a very sort of modern, artistic, forward-looking mashup of materials. One of the earliest pieces in the collection is a reefer coat from 1947. It's a beautiful example of this idea of a wall of air. It drapes away from the body in the back, creating that space between the body and the fabric. Another dress in the exhibition is called the Infanta cocktail dress. It is a brown, not a usual color for a cocktail dress. So this was very James again, sort of unusual colors one wouldn't expect. There's a gorgeous ball gown known as the bustle dress. And it is, again, this interesting combination of materials with sort of a brown wool crepe bustle wrapped around the back of the dress, very Victorian again. And then you have this unusual mix of colors and materials, velvet with brown wool, and then satin. So again, his sort of unusual mix of materials with colors, and then historical references that make his garments so unique. So in the de Menil home, James not only created furniture for the house, but he also intervened in the structures of the house, not necessarily architecturally, but on the surface of them. He sort of wallpapers with felt that he's dyed butterscotch, intense fuchsia, even just plain white felt. And it creates a texture and sort of a richness of color that I don't think one would achieve otherwise with paint. I was always, again, obsessed with the idea of the antique, the old, something that has a patina to it. So the colors are slightly dirty. And in the hallway, he uses a bubblegum pink. And then in her dressing room, he paints a beautiful checkerboard of airy colors: aqua, pale blue, gray. And these are some of the color introductions that he brings into the house on the structural surfaces. You see a relationship between his fashion design and the way he thinks about interior design. James was obsessed with the curve. He was obsessed with the idea of the female body and its curvature. And this is very much exemplified in the pieces of furniture you see in the exhibition, one of which is a chaise longue. And again, these sort of refined materials combined with the rough hewn. So the legs are done out of a wrought iron, but the shape is like a female body. There is the lip sofa, perhaps Charles James's most iconic piece of furniture. It was designed originally for the de Menils, and it was completed in 1952. Looks like a pair of lips. Another piece is the banquette. It's a large sweeping sofa that resided in the de Menil's dining room for lounging after dinner or while one is entertaining. I think what would be great for people to take away from this exhibition is to think about the conceptual aspects of a fashion designer. What I think is beautiful about Charles James is that he brings a poetry to fashion design. And this is, to me, what James was about, and the commission of the de Menils of James was about, was this idea of living in life and how fashion elaborates that, but it also becomes a mechanism for the poetic.
Visit monil.org for more information. Up next, we learn how to make a guitar really play. Sure, it takes talent on the part of the musician, but behind every good guitar player is a skilled craftsman. Or at least, that's what John Hill would say. The Cleveland-based woodworker crafts only the finest instruments, and in this segment, he explains how his guitars set his customers apart.
I was one of those people where I just loved the wood shop. When I started building guitars, this was in like 83 or 84, and it was a lot of handwork, files and rasps and belt sanders, and I found out early that I kind of had a knack for that stuff, and I started playing guitar, getting interested in guitar, and obviously guitars are made out of wood, so I just kind of thought that I could sort of build my own guitar, and so that's really where it started for me, high school. People that don't play guitar, that build guitars, I don't know how they could do it. I'm just not a great musician where I can just jump up on stage and just hold my own, but I try and play enough to where I understand all the idiosyncrasies that these guys want at a high level.
I never was into custom-made guitars, but for this one, I had to have it. The guitar was so beautiful, and the neck was so thin and fast, and the action was like a runway, you know. I mean, I was just like, I couldn't stop shredding on it. I just couldn't put it down.
The form always follows function. I believe in that rule 100%. Like, it has to work as an instrument when it's done. You know, I always visualize everything in my head. You know, I can kind of see how it's going to transform into what its final thing is going to be. I would start out with a piece of paper that's big enough for a whole guitar, and I would just strike a center line and take another guitar and kind of trace it and get the basic width elements, you know, the width and the length, and I just sort of start filling in all those pieces of the puzzle until I get it the way I want it to really look, and then I'll transfer all those final curves and drawings, I'll scan it, and then I'll bring it into like a CAD program, engineer it. So after the CNC machine cuts the parts out, CNC stands for Computer Numeric Control, and that just means it's a router head that's controlled by a computer. I have it doing fretboard radiuses, like fret slots, neck shapes. We do have to sand those parts. There's machine marks in them, or you know, like some of the wood could chip off. You know, when the bodies and necks are finish sanded, and then they go to paint. And then the hardware elements. The hardware is like the bridge, the tuning keys, the knobs, the jack plate, things like that. The pickups. Our guitars are different because of the way that they're assembled and set up, where it's a kind of a spiritual thing for me in a way, you know. But I'll clean my workbench off and I'll lay out all the parts like really neat, and you know, with the neck and the body and everything ready to go, and I'll take a picture of it, you know, and I'll send it to the guy and I'll say, hey, I'm starting to assemble your guitar.
He takes a real lot of care into hand making these things from the ground up. every aspect of the guitar. And that's what they used to do in the old days at all the famous guitar companies that we know. Now they just mass produce them so much with machines. It's beautiful, I mean, as far as cosmetically. But if you pick it up, it's really nothing like the ones that were made back in the old days. You know, so each guitar he develops or has an idea to make, it is absolutely made, you know, from the ground up, you know, with every little detail, okay, just right. I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing.
So the assembly process for me lately has been the final chapter in like mastering what the whole guitar is about. Guitars, when they're set up well, people that really have an ear for sound qualities, they appreciate it more.
There are some guitars that are inspirational to someone. You pick them up and all of a sudden you just know, like, oh my God, this is something that, you know, I can't put it down. It's giving me more ideas. It's inspiring me to go farther to another step.
And it motivates them to like write or just be creative. They can like, wow, this really sounds magical. And like, you know, kind of, well, let me play this chord and let me like try this thing and let me play it through this amp. And the next thing that you know, they're creating music, they're playing music, that's where it's all about for me. So I really think that the music in general is what I try and strive for, is just to make it a musical instrument so that people will want to play it, want to write with it, and want to show it to people. I'd like to keep them for about a week after we actually finish the assembly process. And I play them, I tweak them, just dial them in a little bit. But yeah, they're hard to let go. Like you know, if your dog has puppies or something, you got to give all the puppies away, right? It's tough.
Hugo Medina reflects upon his 15 years in Phoenix as he explores the idea of old versus new through the changing landscape, architecture, and politics. Home is a showcase of Medina's engaging portraits and dramatic landscapes. His love of Phoenix, the community, and its people are the focal point of this new work. The inspiration behind his recent exhibition is a simple yet important idea of home. What is home, and what makes it home? All while watching downtown Phoenix grow and develop into what it is today. Take a look.
Art gives a place a soul. What better than to be walking down the street and see artwork instead of just a plain beige building? You know, life is better in color than in black and white. My name is Hugo Medina. I was born in La Paz, Bolivia. I grew up in New York, and I've been living in Phoenix since '98. 15 years ago, I moved to Phoenix. I was chasing my heart. There was always this stigma about Phoenix that had no culture. Being from New York, when I first moved out here, it was hard to find. It was always there, it was just very hard to find. Because when I moved here, downtown, you went downtown after 5 o'clock and it was a ghost town. There was nobody around. Nothing was open. People were walking in the streets and people were afraid to walk in the streets. And then you have the few activists, few people that believed in downtown Phoenix stayed there and fought the good fight to give it, make it a destination, give it a place, give it a soul. So artists usually go where it's cheap. They go in there, they start creating artwork. They start, and then people will follow the artist because it gives a destination of soul. So they would go downtown to look at the murals. People use murals as backdrops for photo shoots, and the more people you have interacting, businesses are attracted to it. Because like, oh, there's people down there. We should open a restaurant. And then restaurants starting opening up. And as restaurants starting opening up and retail start coming in, people are like, oh, we need places for people to live downtown. So now we have all these residences that are popping up. It's a vital part of any economy, any downtown, or any neighborhood. The arts brings people together. Murals are artwork for the people, by the people. The murals and public art takes art that only a select few are privileged to seeing or can't see it, and gives it to everybody to enjoy and be a part of it. You could look at my murals and you could see the similarity between my mural work and my canvas work. The murals, even though they're more community-based and I try to bring people together, which is what makes the mural special, is almost like getting everybody coming in for a cause that's bigger than ourselves. And we come in and we leave something for everybody to experience and enjoy. The paintings for me are more of a diary of how I'm going through things, more personal. I start with an idea or a concept or even an image, and then I don't outline it, I don't draw it on the canvas, I just pick a spot and start from the center. Like all life evolves from the center, okay? And it works its way outwards. My paintings do that. I start from a certain location, I just let it grow and build. And it changes as it goes along, and I just keep building up to it and let the painting have its own life. I wanted to capture the changing face of Phoenix. And one of my goals was to have a show at Mount Orchid, one of the beautiful gallery downtown. And last year they gave me that opportunity. The whole series is questioning what is home. We have modernization, we have old buildings, new buildings. I have paintings with new Phoenix and old Phoenix going against each other. I started questioning all that, and this series, being a part of it, started evolving with what is home. Like some of the paintings are of buildings historic buildings that were here that got torn down at the James Madison Hotel. A historic building that's been part of Phoenix, part of history, got torn down for a parking lot. So that's one of those paintings questioning the evolution of Phoenix, the changing hands. A lot of the paintings are of buildings that have been here for years, way before me, and some are new places that are here. I have a painting of a little coffee shop that opened downtown Phoenix, Jobot, where I go there and everybody knows my name. Is that home? Because they're all familiar. So, and then I started a new painting that I was born in Bolivia, so that's my home or birthplace, and I'm combining Bolivia and Phoenix, and so it's playing with that theme. Culture in Phoenix has grown leaps and bounds in just the last 10 years, not even. Like, we have amazing museums that are finally coming into light. Before, you didn't know about it because nobody came downtown. Art moves people, it motivates them, it stirs emotions. So when you bring those elements into a neighborhood that doesn't have it, it gives it life. It's amazing to watch it happen. The culture evolves as the city evolves, and we grow. It took us a while, but we found out who we are, and now we're creating it. What I love about Phoenix is it's almost like an empty canvas. You know, we have all these young artists and architects and engineers and entrepreneurs that could come here and make their own city. And that's what we're creating together.
Home, the latest painting series and solo exhibition of local artist and muralist Hugo Medina, is currently on view in Shade Gallery at the Mount Orchid in downtown Phoenix. For more information, visit hugosart.com. For more arts and culture, visit azpbs.org/artbeat, where you'll find feature videos and information on the Arizona art scene. Funding for Artbeat Nation is made possible by contributions to 8 from viewers like you. Thank you.